Welcome to Rebirth Podcast. I'm your host, Shea. Tonight, we're going to be talking all things hip hop. We have special guest, Dr. Grouchy Greg Watkins, and also is Balleto. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to tonight's podcast.
Out of the ashes, we will soar to a destiny we can't ignore. Heartbeats echo through the night with every dream and endless flight. Together strong, let's break the mold. Our rebirth and stories told. It's time to renew, rebuild, restore. Unlock the dreams we've been waiting for. Rise up higher, more and more. With every breath, a new dawn's roar.
Happy Monday. Welcome to Rebirth Podcast. I'm your host, Shea.
And I'm Corey, a.k.a. The Thinkers. Did I get it off right?
I see you.
Did I get it right? Did I get it right? All right. Cool.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in tonight. Corey, what's going on?
Not much. Happy for this fabulous Monday.
I like that.
You like that?
Happy, fabulous Monday.
You like that?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
You're throwing a positive out there.
I'm trying to. My
Yeah.
mom's birthday is in a couple days.
Oh,
Thursday.
well, shout out. Happy birthday.
Be the third year anniversary when we met.
Yes, yeah, at the Rebirth Live.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's when she came to the Rebirth
Yeah, all
Live.
of that.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's a good week.
Well, happy birthday to you. Hopefully, Corey is going to take you to a beautiful dinner and shower you with love and gifts and
All right.
all of those things.
Yeah, this is live, so like
This
I can't
is
take that
live.
back.
That's right.
Thanks.
That's right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Before we get started, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to tonight's podcast. Listen, I have a question for you. All right. And I want you to put it in the chat. This is going to be an exciting show tonight.
Okay.
Why? You know why?
I know why. I would love to see how you show up.
How I show up?
Yeah, you know why?
Okay.
'Cause
Anyway,
I was gonna
whatever,
say.
Corey.
You and this hip hop thing, Shay.
When did you fall in love with hip hop? When was the first time you fell in love with hip hop? That is the question. So put it in the chat. I want to hear from you. When was the first time you fell in love with hip hop?
When I heard Children's Story by Slick Rick.
Oh, wow. Yes. Okay.
Try to get me.
Okay.
I seen that.
I like that.
Yeah, when I heard
like
Children's
that.
Story by Slick
Children's
Rick.
Story by Slick Rick. Okay.
Yes,
You know what my song was?
what was
A
that?
Lottie.
Was it? Okay. Slick Rick is okay.
Yes. So back in the day, shout out to my Uncle Art. He was a DJ back in the day, and I was young, probably had no business being in the club with him. When I say young, but that's when I fell in love with hip hop. He would actually throw like Halloween parties for me in my backyard.
Okay.
Because back then, just like it is today, it was dangerous to do, trick or treat. And so he would invite all the kids over, and I'm telling you, hip hop all night. We would have our costumes on and just have a great time. So he actually introduced me to hip hop, and I didn't know what I was listening to, but it was just an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when I came across Public Enemy, I started like, okay, all right, I'm
Wanted
about
to fight the power. Is that what it was?
Right, but it
Yeah.
taught me a lot about what was going on in our world.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So hip hop has always been a part of my life and my
Yeah.
makeup.
And when
my
I was
DNA.
little, my brother used to be security at the Apollo. So I used to go to work with him. And I used to just be in the
Nice.
Apollo, just walking around. Little kid, I probably had no business being in there either.
Right.
Like on all the amateur nights, I was at a lot of those.
Okay.
Just watching. Keith Sweat used to be begging back when he first came out. I used to watch that from the balcony.
Why you
Always
always say Keith Sweat be begging?
You ever listen to him?
Yes,
man?
I heard.
You agree?
Leave Keith alone.
I'ma
I bet
leave him
you
alone.
had Keith playing when you was out on your dates.
I made it last forever. Of course I
Oh
did.
Lord.
Stop trying to play with me, Shay.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about tonight's guest. But again, tonight's question is, when did you fall in love with hip hop? We want to hear from you. Please put it in the chat tonight. Okay. And make sure you share this podcast. Share this podcast with someone because we have an amazing guest. We have two amazing guests that's joining us. Would you like to introduce them?
Grouchy Greg, Dr. Grouchy Greg.
That's right. Put some respect on his name.
Yes, for sure. Right. One of the founders of allhiphop.com, which I used to go to that website all the time to get my hip hop news. So I was excited when I realized that we were going to be interviewing him.
Yes. And welcome back. Welcome back to the Rebirth podcast. That's right. And then, of course, we have the amazing Is Balleto. Did I say that right? I hope I said that right. Is Balleto.
Peace. As long as you say it with love, we're good.
That was good.
From Delaware Art Museum, guys. Welcome to the Rebirth podcast. We are so excited to have you.
Yes. Welcome,
How you doing?
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We're very excited to be here on Rebirth Radio. Looking forward to a good chat.
Yes, we're excited to have you guys. Yeah. So the question that we proposed to our audience, and we can start off with that. When did you guys fall in love with hip hop?
Is you can grab that.
All right. So I told Greg the other day it was actually New Edition. Candy Girl when it came out.
Oh wow! Okay.
That verse that was in there that threw me off, but I remember being a child and just being like, that's me, and the style and everything. Because I was just telling you earlier, when I was living in Brooklyn, that was us. That's the way we rap, and it just at the same time. But what woke up my spirit? That's when I fell in, like I was like, okay, that's hip hop. But what woke up my spirit to hip hop culture was X-Clan. So I just made me think more about life other than where I'm from, because then I realized how we're more connected as a people.
Right.
So X-Clan definitely did that for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for me it was a few things, right? Out here, we live in Delaware. Philadelphia radio stations reach us down here. So we're very influenced by the Philly hip hop scene. So for me, it was a number of things. It was Pop Art Records, which was putting out all the early 12-inch singles from MC Shan, Roxanne Shante, Bismarck. So, Bismarcky. So Have a Nice Day by Roxanne Shante. That was one of the earliest records I got my hands on. Rockmaster Scott, The Dynamic 3, Request Line. That was a real big one. And then when I saw people actually breakdancing for the first time in my neighborhood, I was like, okay, this is it. And kids in my school going back to like 4th grade, they would bring it. There was one particular graffiti book that was circulating around the school from Zephyr. Zephyr was it still is a famous graffiti artist. So we would go through these books and try to copy them and put the graffiti on the back of our jean jackets. I mean, all that stuff. And then, Beach Street came out, and that was it.
Beach Street. Yeah.
Right.
And then, of course, going up and getting a little older, the real thing that pushed me over the edge into it from like dancing and was absolutely, Public Enemy. The first time I heard Rebel without a pause, I was like,
yes,
game over.
See, mine was when Self-Destruction came out. Like Public Enemy was cool, but when they did Self-Destruction, I used to remember that record backwards, forwards, backwards.
Because you was probably headed for
that was a real watershed moment for hip hop, though. Having all of those artists on one record, putting out something positive, and delivering a real strong message to the hip hop community, which is what we're doing with the Hip Hop Cultural Summit. I mean, it's hard to put in words how it felt to hear that record for the first time or see the video and and to see it, and then to know, okay, the West Coast did their version of it with All in the Same Gang. It was just like, wow, this is what hip hop needs.
Yeah, for sure. Since you brought up the Hip Hop Cultural Summit, you're in your third year now. So what growth or evolution have you seen since it's began, and what makes this year's summit especially powerful and different?
Is you got that?
Well, I would say, no, I think the importance now is really how arts and culture specifically has to stand up when it comes to this administration that's here in power, restraining the voices of people of color, specifically for Black and brown. And that's why even before even before the administration took in, we decided to address this before, because we wanted to talk about it. We wanted to see, from within us, because one thing about hip hop, it's got to be about knowledge. It's got to be about, what we're going to be able to teach and educate. It's a summit. And we definitely want to make sure that our community understands the responsibility of holding that hip hop title or carrying that culture with you. Like, what are you doing with it? At the end of the day, it can be misguided or misrepresented. That's the purpose of the summit. The summit,
absolutely,
to re-educate. It's like a retreat. Like, okay, I got to find out again, because it happens. It happens to all of us. Sometimes we get caught up, with the moment in life. But then do we remember what is our purpose? Do we ask ourselves that? And that's something that why the summit is so important, that we have to continue. And especially, like I said, here at the Delaware Art Museum, for arts and culture to strive together. Because without culture, who are we? That's something that we have to ask ourselves consistently. Like, what is our roots? And where are we growing with it? Where are we going with it? And we want to make sure that language and that essence of the culture, because as me and Greg, we didn't realize as time went on, like, dang, how did we become the only hip hop summit in the East Coast? So we're just doing what we need to do. It's not what we want to do, it's what we need to do. And when we came up with the concept together, we gotta love our people, we gotta love our community, So that's why it's important for people to engage, because I know Dr. Grouchy Greg even has a powerful panel to start off the day, that I think a lot of people need to be. And I'm telling you right now, this is something I know that it's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., but every panel is addressing something that you're going to go home, like you got empowered, and knowledge is one of them. And I want Greg to definitely touch base on that first panel.
Yes. Could you guys share a little bit about who's going to be on the panel this year?
Sure. So let me just speak to a little bit about the growth. Year one, we had Grandmaster Kaz, MC Sharrock, Joe Conzo, Grand Wizard Theodore, who invented scratching. And year one was about the 50th anniversary of hip hop culture and celebrating the 50th anniversary. And then because we're here in Delaware, we also hosted a panel that gave props to all the local rappers who put out records and albums from, say, 1980 up until about 1995. And some of these artists, all of these artists, put out records before there was any internet or easy way to distribute their music. And these records are now collector's items. They sell for thousands of dollars on eBay. People from all across the world are looking for these records. And then year two, we had a discussion about the birth of the music industry and how Delaware shaped that by inventing the gentleman from Delaware, Eldridge Johnson, is the person who invented the record player. So when somebody gets a Grammy, they're actually getting an invention from someone from Delaware. So year three, what we're discussing is an area that was on the Chitlin circuit. And for those who don't know, the Chitlin circuit is what the independent Black theaters, or a network of venues to perform all around the country for Black artists. There was a time where Black artists could not perform with white artists. So this independent circuit, this independent circuit of of theaters and venues popped up. And Delaware had one, a segregated beach called Rosedale Beach, which had artists like Sammy Davis Jr., Sam Cooke, Ray Charles, Patti LaBelle, James Brown, all kinds of artists came through there. So we're doing, and the venue doesn't exist anymore. So that's what we're focused on this year from the local angle. But year one we had about 1,000 people. Year two we had about 2,000, and this year we're expecting about 2,500 people.
Wow,
nice.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think you touched on a point. I think both of you touched on a point about the responsibility that we have in our community, especially with hip hop, right? And the goal is to educate. Do you feel like we've lost our way from a hip hop perspective, right? Like, how do you feel like hip hop is represented today versus maybe when in the early 90s, during the 80s era? Do you feel like it's been represented the same way, or do you feel like we've lost our way and we need to kind of redefine and reshape our message?
Well, on my end, I got a theory just in case, you don't have to hold me against it. But I thought in my heart and in my spirit, I felt when Nas said hip hop is dead in the year 2000, that track, he said that for a reason, and some people didn't understand what it meant. Because, we know hip hop is not dead. Right. But corporations took over, and meaning the fact, what type of music started after that? What changed it? Who took the knowledge out of it? Because before 2000, you had to earn your right to get on the radio. You had to earn your right to be an MC. You had to earn your right to be a breaker, a graph, all that. You had to battle for that. And now with the internet, as time going on, anybody can be there, and you could pay for your views, you could pay for all that. And you didn't have to earn it. You just had to pay for it, and I remember like us, and another reason why me and Brother Greg got together, because I also belong to a hip hop nation called Guerrilla Republic. It's a worldwide entity, but Guerrilla Republic, you had to do work before you became a part of Guerrilla Republic. And what does that mean? You had to do community service. So it's something that we had to make sure that the value was over there. You had to represent your neighborhood. You had to do something for your people. You had to pull in whatever you got, because that's the way hip hop was brought up. Back then we were talking about police brutality from day one, the issues of poverty, the issues of how crack the epidemic was, taking over in our community. So this was a formal way for us to educate and to teach others in youth, like Gangstar did, and so much in his verses, because I'm so grateful for MCs that were always giving that knowledge for us that didn't have 2-parent households. And we needed that, but we didn't also realize how we were being misguided too, as well, through music manipulation. When, for myself, when I started finding out more about private prisons and people that were investing in them, and especially record label companies that were tied into them, there was an agenda. Yeah. But not everybody was paying attention to that. And like I said, we get caught up in the moment, but we don't even realize. Like, I tell you one thing that, like, for me personally, and I don't mean to insult anybody, but I remember there was a time when we could say the N-word at any time to each other in the neighborhoods, because hip hop started doing that, started incorporating in that. And then all of a sudden it became more right, something that we knew was never right. How did that become a part of life? How did that become a way to address each other? So like for me on my end, like when people were like, yo, you my nigga, you my all that, I had to educate them. I'm not, I'm your brother. And then that's when people started, on my end, people started calling me Brother Is, because I had to check them all the time. I'm not that, and I'm not going to say that to you, because I knew one thing, that if I kept saying it to you over and over, and you say it to me, you're going to look at me a lot more less than a brother. In other words, it's going to affect you psychologically somehow. There's, what? I don't care about your life. I'm going to just do whatever I got to do to get by. In other words, and that means more violence among each other. So I just felt like for myself, like we have to take accountability. We have to, if we want a future. And like I told you earlier, not all of us come from a 2-parent household. So something happens with that. So who's your mentor? Who's your brother on the street, or your older sister that's here to guide you? you know. And then that's like, for me, I felt we have to do something about it. And there is a difference. There's a big difference with it. But I do want to be stated on record. Hip hop exists, and it's going to continue existing. It might not be the mainstream, but it's there. It's there among the people. It's there among the underground. It's powerful. It's powerful because just like we're addressing hip hop, race, and culture, we're addressing it how it affected in every part of the world. Hip hop.
Agreed.
Yeah, I love your passion behind it. Absolutely. Absolutely. With that being said, how do you see it currently shaping conversations around race and identity in today's America?
Well, I'll say that, hip hop culture has become a global export, right? Hip hop culture is completely, it's been, exploited by corporations. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's producing billionaires, as we know. And I was reading something interesting, a study that said when culture becomes corporatized, it can be shelved. You know what I mean? It can be put up on a shelf. And so it's important to remember that hip hop is a culture and it's not a product. And, I would say that hip hop is still shaping our politics. If you look at whether you love him or hate him, Trump, you can look at his election and you can see how many rappers he tapped into. You know what I mean? How many rappers that he called on, the rappers that he pardoned, Obama, the rappers that he used, Kamala, the rappers that she used. So politics it's driving the discussion. I think that when we talk about things like the N-word, it's very important, and this is what the types of things we're going to be talking about at the summit. It's very important to understand the root of that word and how far back we've been calling each other that. This goes back to the 20s. It's not something that hip hop invented. It's not something that Black and brown people that were foreign to us. It's something that the music obviously amplified, and then everybody started using it. But these are the things that are going to be discussed at the summit, because the topic of this year's summit is illustrating hip hop through race and the impact that hip hop has had on all races, quite frankly. So we're really looking forward to this discussion.
Yeah, I definitely believe it's going to be powerful. So let's talk a little bit about the summit. October 18th is an exciting time. Tell the people a little bit about what they can expect and the special guests and some of the things that's going to be happening that day.
Yeah, so I just realized I didn't answer one of your questions about the panelists. So this is where
I'll do it. Okay.
Okay. So headlining is DMC from Run DMC, who was instrumental in bringing hip hop to the masses. Run DMC really took hip hop to another level around the world. And by the way, this is before even though they were the first rap group to have a really big deal with Adidas. This is before what I believe is the inflection point, which is around 89, 90, where it started to become corporate and the message started changing. But Run DMC really took hip hop around the globe and represented it very well. So we're going to have a really deep discussion with DMC about that, his battles with depression, substance abuse, being sober for 20 plus years. Panel number 2 is illustrating hip hop through race. And we have Roxy Romeo, who is a host on Power 99. We have Steve Lobel, who's a white Jewish manager who has all the respect in hip hop. He was one of Run DMC's road managers in the early days. He managed Bone Thugs and Harmony, Nipsey Hussle. He's worked with everybody in the industry. Very well respected. Then we have Michelle Berg McPhee, who is the founders of Ladies of Hip Hop, which is a female dance organization specializing in hip hop dance. We have Martha Diaz, who is a legendary hip hop educator who's been working behind the scenes for the past 25 years to bring hip hop curriculum into the school system and the college system. And we have Brother Rab Love, who is a co-founder of Guerrilla Republic, which is, a worldwide hip hop or activist organization in 22 countries around the world.
Wow, that's amazing. You guys have a great lineup.
Yeah, we also have also Natalie Means. We definitely gonna need to have that native representation, coming out there from definitely from New Mexico and visiting us as well. And at the same time, we're gonna have Cruise and Chaos. We're gonna have Ezekiah. We're gonna have Champtown. We're gonna have DJ Soulbuck. And also with the MC battle, we got Rex Luger, Chino Tarantino, Radio Shack, who also is going to be hosting throughout the day. But one of the main things that we're also going to have implemented on this day is the opening of an exhibition that's called Imprinted Illustrating Race. And this exhibition is powerful because it takes place even from the Civil War to the Harlem Renaissance to the Civil Rights Movement, and how we were depicted as people of color, specifically how the media used to portray us in the beginning. But at the same time, there's going to be like close to 200 illustrated, canvases put up, telling the story, and those that change the narrative. Those that, and just like in hip hop culture, sometimes people put negative images about us and put us all in a hole. But what about those that are doing the work to change it? So in this exhibition, we're going to have tours about it. Like I'm telling you, this is something that people want to experience and see, and probably going to be images that they've seen. They'll be like, hold up, this is here? Because they've seen it somewhere in the media, how we've been depicted, and how we were being told, even from the story, I believe from Aunt Jemima as well, all the way to Emory Douglas, from the Black Panther movement, and this is, like I said, this is a day to learn. This is a day to bring your family. So there's a lot to on. There's going to be plenty of artists and vendors, just in case, people selling vinyl records, book signings. Definitely there's going to be books, for people. Take home some knowledge that day, And I just want people to experience what the museum, because the museum is for us. It's been, for us for a while, but I just want to make sure that we're present as a community, because it matters. Because if we don't show up, then there's no point of keep doing it for some other folks that are going to keep trying to wipe us away or fade us out. I'm not here to be figured out. Neither are we, So if you love hip hop culture like we say we do, because I know my brother knows, like he came up from New York, and one thing about in New York, like he was talking to me earlier, but from the Bronx, we represented. We came through for each other. And that's what we got to keep doing in hip hop culture. And we're going to keep doing that no matter what, because I'm looking at number 4 and number 5 already. So
that's right.
Sure.
Love that.
That's awesome. So I got a couple quick questions to run past y'all real quick. So, count to 30, shake it off. It's going to be quick. But what's your favorite era of hip hop?
For me, mine is probably 88 to about 94. Not only because of the music that came out and the albums that came out, the lyricism, you were still able to sample. Sampling was still an art form that was, being mastered by various hip hop producers to a level that, is legally can't even be done now, So the sonics of the music were very different. But then for me, it's because, I don't want to age myself, but, high school, fashion, the first time, rocking my 4-finger rings or having big gold chains on, you know what I mean? My hair, back when I had hair, A big box and steps and
That's
plaques
right.
and all those things. So it was a very fun
Wow.
time to be young and to be able to experiment like that. But let me just say too that All Hip Hop is going into our 28th year in October.
Congratulations.
Right?
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes.
And I heard you say earlier, you used to get your news from All Hip Hop. You need to still be getting your news from All Hip Hop.
Yeah. I'll correct. I'm on it.
Get on it.
All right. 28 years, man. It's a long time. So I appreciate you, patronizing us at any point. But where I'm going with it is that for me, I mean, even these past 28 years, it's just felt like a golden age. Like, how blessed am I and my partner and co-founder Chuck Jigsaw Creekmer, to make a living off of what we truly grew up loving. It's just a blessing from the Lord, the hip hop gods, whatever you want to call it. It's a blessing from the universe that it's all been a golden age and a good period for me.
Awesome. What about you? Favorite era of hip hop?
When it comes to favorite era, it's like the question of who's the best MC for you is, And the honest truth is, there's so many greats. Every era is great. To me, I'm grateful even for the Kendrick Lamars, the J. Coles that are holding it down for now, and also to the Immortal Techniques, the Vinnie Pass. There's out there the flow. It's there. I myself, I love underground hip hop. I'm not gonna front. I mean, it's a different sound. I love that boom bap. I love that strength because those that had to struggle, we needed something to make sure that we got through the struggle. So it always represented to me. I think Brother Greg said something earlier too as well, that bringing up Roxanne Shante. I remember that when she started, doing her part at 14, I was there and I was just, witnessing, wow, this young girl took on these mighty men, and tore it down and represented. So I was also too never a fan of which borough represented better. I think we always represented better, all of us. And now I love to hear hip hop in my nation, in Peru, in Quechua language, in native culture, native tongue. And I could hear it in Cuba, and my beautiful people in Mexico, my beautiful people in London. Like, it's so, like, I love music, I noticed that now I'm getting older and someone would tell you like, that is, you listen to a lot of jazz, but it always reminds me like where hip hop came from. From Cab Calloway. Like when you look at his videos and you're looking at like, damn, they've been breakdancing for so long. They just didn't call it that. I'm just marveled. I'm marveled all the time. I love seeing beautiful people do amazing, great things always. So I can't really say one era is better than the other because I think we're still doing great things. Just like as we're the most controversial thing, what we're looking forward to, the Super Bowl is about to happen. They're gonna about to hear culture in a whole different language, but you can't help it. You're gonna be moving. You just don't know why your body's moving, but you're like, that rhythm.
Right.
And now you got me in it. Now I'm like, okay, wait a minute. What about the Jay Dilla era? Oh, wait a minute. What about 2006 to 2010? When we had Kanye and Mos Def and Talib and the Raucous records. Like, there's just so many. There's so many great eras. 2010. I mean, even, and there's no disrespect, but I mean, like, even the era where Nelly and those guys were popping up. That was a whole defining moment in my career, being in the clubs and hear Lil Wayne's Officer and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
You see the club go up to those songs, and it's like, oh yeah. It brings back memories.
Absolutely. And that's the great thing about hip hop. Whatever era it is, you can pull something out of it that takes you back. Like when you were mentioning earlier about even just what we wore back then. I started thinking about the bamboo earrings, right? At least 2 pair. The name belts, the name neck, and I actually still wear a name necklace. So I don't know. It's this conversation actually gave me chills because it brought up so many memories, just growing up when things was it just felt easy and fun, right? So I really appreciate you guys, sharing your story, your information, and the most important is the passion that you have behind this, which is so important. So if I can ask you, what do you want people to take away from this summit? And the second question is, how can people purchase their tickets to come on October 18th?
Yeah, what I want people to take away from the summit is a real understanding that hip hop is more than what you hear on the radio or what you are seeing in the videos. The historic element of it for our young people, and the young people having a real understanding of what hip hop is and where it came from, what it means to our communities, and what it means to America. Because we're talking about race, but let's not forget that, this is a unique American art form that was created here in America. No disrespect to anybody else. I know that, people want to argue with this, that, and the third, but it was created in America. We can at least all agree on that. So, I think that I want people to come away with a deeper understanding of what hip hop culture is and how it's used as a tool to bring together the community to help, quite honestly, heal some of the trauma that our community has and that we're going through. I'll let you. I don't want to monopolize it.
Oh no! I mean, we were on the same wave. The main thing is that I want people to go home with knowledge, and I know one thing about this event. I know everybody got a different faith. But I want you to feel like you stepped into church that day. It might as well be a hip hop church, and what?
Hip hop church is good.
Yeah,
I like that.
Right?
And it's gonna be food for your soul. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Because the experience, for hip hop, and what I love from the first one, a lot of people were scared about the first one. They were like, okay, and there was a reason why we're not just paying respect to the 50th anniversary. We wanted to educate people about the foundation, those that started it, those that were there, just like Joe Conzo and Grandmaster Cass, what they were doing in the beginning. They didn't know it was going to grow into be this, but they captured it. But at the same time, it was about growing together. So like I said, when people thought like, oh, we're worried, especially, even at the museum, they were like, taking a big risk. But I was like, you know what? Just let us show you what we can do. And when they saw 1,000, they were like, hold up. But it wasn't just 1,000 young folks. It was elders. We're talking even seniors in their 70s. And they were so appreciative of what they said. And from different cultures, too. They're like, wow, this was such a positive event. And that's what I want people to, walk away with it. I want us to make sure that when you leave here, that narrative that you think about, hold up.
Let me say this. Yeah. It's family friendly. It's kid friendly. There'll be an area for parents if they want to leave their kids out to draw and do art. There's a dedicated area for that in the museum with a licensed person, watching and attending to the kids. And if you want to learn more about the summit, it's allhiphop.com/summit, SUMMIT. And that's where you can register. Registration is mandatory. And come out. It's a full day. Breakdancing in the museum, an all-female breakdancing troupe. Some of the best B-girls in the world are going to be putting on.
I can't wait to see that.
So, it's going to be epic.
Yeah, and also too, like he said, he put it out there, and just to let everybody know that's listening, it's $10 right now, and that's to help the cause, that's to help the arts. Every proceed goes back to help arts and culture keep thriving. Like I said, we have some challenges. They're taking away funding from programs that's about us.
100% of the proceeds go back to the museum. This is not not a for-profit event. So just know that the $10 that you're gonna spend at Chick-fil-A or Wawa or whatever, you know what I mean. That $10 is gonna go back to helping children, find a pathway through the arts, So
yes. It's important.
Good call.
So I think we froze up a little bit. What I would like to say to piggyback, even if you cannot go, purchase a ticket. If you cannot go yourself, purchase a ticket, donate it to someone that would like to experience. And like they said, the money is going to be going back to the arts and in support of this. So I challenge you guys to go to All Hip Hop and register and purchase your tickets today. And again, if you cannot make it there yourself, still purchase the tickets. $10 for all of that.
Yeah,
that's going to be amazing. I think we got you. Yeah, we got them back.
Yeah.
So to wrap up everything, guys, I wanted to take this opportunity to just say thank you so much for sharing space with us and bringing this, to Delaware, because we can't say there's nothing to do in Delaware, right? Get your ticket, come out, enjoy, have a great time,
have fun, bring your kids and family,
and
have a good time for sure.
Yeah, Rebirth will definitely be in the building. We will be there, so I'm looking forward to meeting you guys and seeing you. And as always, please let us know how we can continue to support what you're doing. We're here for you. Shout out to Portia. Thank you, Portia, for connecting us. We appreciate you. You guys have anything else you would like to say before we wrap up?
I said it all. Thank you. Thank you.
Said it all.
I would say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity for lending us your platform and allowing us to come on here and talk about the event. We truly are humbled and we really appreciate your support.
Yeah, and the brothers of in the words of my brother Rob Love, who will be present at the Hip Hop Summit. If nobody told you that they love you today, let Guerrilla Republic tell you first. We love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. We love you guys too. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys on the 18th.
See you on the 18th.
All right. Peace.
All right. Y'all have a good night. Thank you, guys. All right, guys. Again, make sure you run over. I mean, that was a wealth of information.
It was
a wealth of information. Run over and get your tickets for the Hip Hop Summit. You don't want to miss this. I think this is going to be a positive event for you, and it's family friendly.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's growing every year.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Absolutely. So before we wrap up tonight, we also want to remind you of the Rebirth meetup that is coming on October 25th. We're very excited about that. We have DJ Just Twan.
Yes.
Is going to be providing the vibes for the night. We also have Corey Dinay that's going to be doing a live performance. So make sure you run over to rebirthu.com and purchase your tickets today. Tickets are going fast, and we also have limited space available. Yeah. So we hope to see you there.
Yeah. Can't wait in the fireside chat. Who we pulling?
Who are we pulling?
I'm just gonna grab somebody.
You just gonna grab somebody? Well, you can't just be grabbing people today now. We don't want no other things happening.
Right.
That's
Lord.
Right. Me too. It'd be listening.
Have
me
a
too.
seat.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to tonight. Next week, we have Ask a Therapist is coming back with Ebony Madre and as well as Melita Grimes. They were here last week and it was such a great show. So part 2, make sure you tune in next Monday at 7 p.m. Until then, have an amazing week and thank you again.
Go get your tickets, subscribe, like, love, all of that.
God bless. Have a good week.